Yeah, so that shutdown caps yet another tumultuous week in Washington, certainly for President Trump. To discuss this, we're speaking with Professor Ed Blakely, US political analyst. Ed, great to see you.
Good to see you.
Where do we start this week? Because there's so much that's happened. Let's start with the shutdown. So President Trump said, look, in the past, he said, I'll take responsibility for this if it comes to it because it's all about the wall. I've got to get the wall funded. Now he's, of course, blaming the Democrats, which I guess is not surprising. What's the way forward as far as solving the problem of the shutdown is concerned?
Well, the president has a real problem here because if he does the wall and calls it the wall, the Democrats and some Republicans are opposed to that. He wants $5 billion. The way out is to do it over time and do DACA. Remember DACA, the Dreamers? He had the wall with the Dreamers, all of the wall. So I think we'll come back to some immigration reform or DACA, and I think DACA, because here is a win-win. He even wins with DACA and gets his wall.
Is it not just immigration, though? Certainly as far as those Republicans that are refusing to back this at this point, is it also the cost? Because it's a huge imposition, and there's, of course, questions of physically whether it can be done.
That's why you have to do it over time. It was in train under Obama and would have been done anyway. Most of this, and this is border security. There's not a wall in every place. There's some fencing, repairs, and things like this, but it's become symbolic for him. And he needs a victory. He was roundly defeated just a few weeks ago. So he needs a victory right now. And the erosion that's going on in his own office is telling as well.
So before we get on to the erosion in the White House, 3 shutdowns in 2018. Do you think this last one will be seen as a strategic blunder for Trump?
Well, yes, because it was totally unnecessary. And he could have done this stuff long before now. But he gets distracted. And so this is a strategic blunder. He is losing Republicans now. And that wasn't the case before. So the Republicans know this is a lose-lose for them. Schumer felt so confident, as you saw him, that we're on a winning track here. The Democrats have offered him a wall under certain conditions, and he hasn't taken it.
Well, and on the wall, his biggest concern, of course, is that he'll start to lose his base if the wall is not built, because that was a cornerstone of his platform when he was elected, and he's already under extreme pressure from those conservative commentators who are saying that he will have no chance if the wall is never built.
And that's absolutely the case. His base is shrinking for the first time because he's not able to fulfill his promises. And the layoffs, don't forget those, 15,000 workers. The ag workers and the farmers are upset. So he really has to hold on to that very thin religious base, and they're upset. The wall is not a significant deal for them, but the failure of their president is a big deal, and that's what it's all about, this mano a mano thing.
As we know, shutdown is currently happening. Where do you see the negotiations playing out? Will the shutdown cease in the next 24 hours, or is it likely to go on?
No, I think it might go on through the first of the year, the way it's going. Because remember, this shutdown doesn't imperil everyday activities, and the government does shut down a bit over Christmas anyway. There's a slowdown anyway, except for air traffic controllers and people like that, as long as people get the Social Security checks and the winter's here and all those kinds of things. So I think it might last until almost the first of the year or the first of the year. It has to be settled before those Democrats are sworn in.
Okay, Ed, let's move to the other dramatic move during the week, which was the resignation of Jim Mattis. Now, a lot of commentary over why this has happened seems to be in relation to that announcement by President Trump that he's going to withdraw troops from Syria. Was that just the tipping point for Mattis, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. But that letter wasn't composed overnight. This has been going on for some time. You could read it in his face that he was unhappy. It's hard to run the military, which is chain of command, with somebody butting in. Trump was butting in on procurement. He didn't like certain aircraft or tanks and giving his opinions. This is very disruptive, talking to contractors and things like this. When somebody undercuts you in the military, this is very serious, and Mattis had just had it. But he's been a very loyal trooper to his troops, so they're going to stand behind him. And he was sending a signal to him in that letter. Look, ladies and gentlemen, military, you defend the United States and not a monarch.
And so the replacement, much has been made about how Mattis and Trump didn't share the same global view. It is assumed that the replacement will share the same view as Donald Trump. Who might that be, and how dangerous could that be?
Well, there are a couple of people in the wings. The former Joint Chiefs of Staff head could step into this role quite easily. He doesn't necessarily share Trump's views, but Trump just needs somebody on the job. Then he can make up his mind later on that. But I think Mattis was speaking for the full military. So when he looks around the military, he's going to find somebody who may be better suited to his personality, but no one who's going to change the course of the military very quickly. So, and he's got too many other fires, so he'll take the former Joint Chiefs of Staff head.
So, Ed, who's likely to be running foreign policy in the White House at the moment then, when you've got Mattis is gone, you've still got Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State, John Bolton, National Security Advisor. Are those the two key guys? But are they on the same page as Donald Trump?
No, they're not on the same page. They're not on the same page with one another. They have different things to offer Donald Trump. Pompeo, the allies are important to him. We both know. So we've got a situation where those two guys aren't on the same page. And no UN secretary, essentially. So there's going to be a little war duking out there. The president seems to be just going on his own, though. One would think in a normal bureaucracy that one of these two would be the president's go-to person. But I can't see that right now. And we have some really dangerous things going on. North Korea is unleashed. Syria, if that caves, this is bad news for the entire Middle East and Afghanistan. So these are important days. And let's hope Bolton and Pompeo can get together. There's one adult in the room somewhere.
Well, Pompeo seemed blindsided by the Syria move, which makes his role even harder to try and get to a political solution in the region as well.
You're absolutely right. Very astute comment that Pompeo thought he was stitching some things together on that side. We've lost the soft war with the Chinese, and Pompeo was bringing the Australians into that soft diplomacy and the like. And then all of a sudden to be cut from the back, then your allies don't know, well, who's in charge here? Where's the direction coming from? So we're in a free-fall situation right now. I don't know where this is going to end up.
It's interesting you say free fall, just like the markets, but we're out of time. Ed Blakely, thank you so much for joining us, and have a wonderful Christmas.
Yeah, same to you.
Thanks, Ed.